Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you sick and tired of going to the grocery store and $100 bill spends like a 20? Are you sick and tired of watching taxes being extracted from your income while inflation robs you of your future wealth? If you said yes, you're in the right place at the right time with the right information that is forbidden to be taught in the general educational system, AKA the school system. Over the course of the next few minutes, I'm going to make a strong case why you and your family should consider starting to save a portion of your money in physical silver and gold. I'm going to show you why your dollars will never be worth more than they are today. And in fact, I'm going to show you a 109-year guarantee that your dollar will be worth less in the future than it is currently as you exchange your time for it. Are you ready? Well, buckle up your seatbelt because I am about to expose to you what I am calling a 109-year-old financial civil war against American citizens' financial freedom. My name is Mark Pyers, home-based business tax coach and wealth coach. I'm also the CEO and founder, alongside of my beautiful wife and business partner, of a 30-year-old tax educational platform called the Academy of Financial Education, where we know that knowledge isn't power. It's applied knowledge that's power. And it is our hope that you will take the knowledge that you're going to learn today and immediately apply it, because we believe that it could change your life financially for generations to come. And so with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump off of the screen, and I want to jump over to Google. And so I would be remiss if I didn't start from the beginning of what I'm calling a 109-year financial civil war on American financial freedom. And so what I want to do is I want to come here to Google, and I want to ask Google a few questions. So you guys want to jot these down. You want to make sure that you follow the money as I go through these questions. Okay, so let's start with February the 3rd, 1913. When was the federal income tax levied against American individual income?
According to Library of Congress research guides, the origin of the income tax on individuals is generally cited as the passage of the 16th Amendment, passed by Congress on July 2, 1909, and ratified February 3, 1913.
So on February 3rd, 1913, I'm calling this the first shot. Prior to February 3rd, 1913, it had already been ruled by the United States Supreme Court that a federal income tax on an individual's income was unconstitutional. Okay, so I want you to remember this, okay? So we're going to stay here in 1913 for a minute, and I want to ask Google another question. When was the Federal Reserve Act enacted?
December 23, 1913. According to Senate.gov, it took many months and nearly straight party line voting, but on December 23, 1913, the Senate passed and President Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act.
So for those of you that don't know, the Federal Reserve is the central banking system. This entity controls our entire money system. However, they are not really a part of the federal government. Okay, now we're going to jump all the way to January the 30th, 1994. This here may be one of the biggest shots to destroy Americans' financial freedom. What year did it become illegal for Americans to hold gold?
According to Wikipedia, the passage of the Gold Reserve Act of 1934 signified that the American people could no longer hold gold, with the exception of jewelry and collector's coins.
Wow. So here in the United States of America, the land of the free, the American people were ordered forcefully with the threat of going to jail and facing a $10,000 fine if they didn't turn over their physical gold and what was their current money, their gold certificates. So now we're going to jump from 1933, where Americans were forced to turn over their assets, to 1965. What year was silver taken out of the American coinage?
1965. According to United States Mint, on July 23, 1965, President Johnson approved the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed silver from circulating coins and authorized that clad coins be used for the half dollar, quarter, and dime.
Wow, so this was another shot at the United States of America's currency. Let me show you the effects of what happened here. This is a site called coinflation.com. And if I scroll down here a little bit, you'll see here a 1964 Kennedy half dollar, which is worth 50 cents in dollar nomination. However, the value of that 50-cent piece, because of the silver, is valued at $8.43. This is the meltdown value of that 50-cent piece. Okay, let's look at a Morgan dollar here. This $1 was in circulation. Currently, right now, that $1 has a value based on silver of $18. That is the meltdown value of that $1. In fact, let me scroll up just a little bit more and ask you a question. Here's a 1942 to 1945 nickel. You guys can see a 5-cent dollar nomination. However, that nickel, based on the silver content, is worth $1.31. So if that nickel is worth $1.31, we're going to go $1.31 times 20 nickels in a dollar. So based on the real asset in our money, 20 nickels would be the equivalent of $26.20. Wow. And so let's jump back over to Google, and we're going to wrap this up when we land on the last shot that was fired on the American currency, but it was actually a nuclear bomb because it was fired on the rest of the world. And here it is. What president finally ended the gold standard for the entire world?
According to Federal Reserve history, with inflation on the rise and a gold run looming, President Richard Nixon's team enacted a plan that ended dollar convertibility to gold and implemented wage and price controls, which soon brought an end to the Bretton Woods system.
Okay, so I want to expand this because they just mentioned a word that I think we all need to pay attention to because it's in the news every day, and that is inflation. This article said on August 1971, President Nixon ended the gold standard for the entire world. Why? With inflation on the rise and a gold run looming, which means that international countries that had given the United States their gold in exchange for gold certificates were now coming and saying, here is your certificate that's certified that I had a claim to my gold. Please give me my gold. President Nixon enacted a plan that ended the dollar convertibility to gold and implemented wages and price control, which soon brought an end to the Bretton Woods system. Wow. And so that's going to lead me right into, guys, what's called an inflation calculator. And so I hope you've been paying attention, okay, of the history of what happened to the American currency. And now let's take a look and see if the government was able to reduce inflation, even though we know in 2022 is rampant. I want to take you back to 1913, and we're going to take 1,000 US dollars, and we're going to say that you had 1,000 US dollars that you stored under your mattress in this scenario, okay? And we're gonna go all the way to, we're gonna go 20-year increments from 1913 to 1933, and we're gonna see if our dollar held its purchasing power or decreased in purchasing power as I hit calculate. And what we see is that $1,000 saved in paper in 1913 would have required you to add an additional $313 to get the same goods and services that it got in 1913 and 1933. Wow. Okay, so let's keep going. So now we're going to go 1934 to 1954, another 20 years, and let's see if the dollar got stronger. Wow. And so I want to expand this screen so you guys can read this verbatim. This says that 1,000 paper dollars saved under your mattress in 1934 now requires $2,007 in 1954, 20 short years later, for you to have the same purchasing power that $1,000 had in 1934. Let me read this here for you. Value of $1,000 from 1934 to 1954. $1,000 in 1934, and I'll say was the equivalent in purchasing power to about $2,007 in 1954. That is an increase of $1,007.46 over 20 years. That is the equivalent of a 100.75% inflation. Wow. Well, it had to get better, right? So now we're going to go 1954 to 1974, just a couple of years after President Nixon took the world off the gold standard. And here are our results. We can see that we would have to have added another $832.71 to every $1,000 you save under your mattress. We had a 83.27% inflation rate over that period of time. Do you see that the dollar has never been worth more than it was the day that you earned it? And so now we're going to go 1974 to 1994. And guys, it has to get better. We put the Federal Reserve in charge. I mean, it's got to get better, right? Well, let's see. Somebody call the police. Somebody call the police because somebody has just got robbed. $1,000 saved from 1974 to 1994 under your mattress. When you pulled it out, you would need an additional $2,006 to give life to the $1,000. I hope you guys got what I just said. Let me read what it says right here. $1,000 in 1974 was the equivalent in purchasing power of $3,006.09 in 1994. That's an increase of $2,006.09 over 20 years. The dollar had an average inflation rate of 5.66% per year between 1974 and 1994, producing a price increase of 200.61% inflation. Let me see if I can blow that up. 200.61% inflation. I want to pause and ask you a question. Why did we come off the gold standard? Okay, so let's go ahead and get ready to wrap this up. So now we're going to go 1994, 20 years later to 2014. We're going to hit calculate, and we can see the dollar is still declining in value. You need to add an additional $600 to every $1,000 you saved under your mattress to give it the purchasing power that it had when you earned it in 1994. Wow. And so again, we're going to go from 2014, the current date to date of 2022, and we're going to hit calculate. And today, that $1,000 still requires you to add an additional $258. And guys, that's only 8 years. That's only within 8 years, our dollar is lost 25.88%. But I want to put the icing on the cake. We're going to go all the way back to 1913 when the Federal Reserve took over our monetary system. And I'm going to hit calculate, and we're going to see what the total inflation was over that 109-year financial civil war against the American people's currency. And ladies and gentlemen, here are your results. $1,000 saved in 1913, put under your mattress, will require you today to have $30,102.22 to have the same buying power that $1,000 had in 1913. You should know that the dollar has never and will never hold its value. Why? Follow the money. And so now that I've given you all of that bad news, I want to make a case for silver. So I'm on a site called kitco.com that tracks all precious metal, and we're going to look at silver over that same 109-year period. And we can see in 1913, 1 ounce of silver was 58 cents per ounce. Now, we can also see here at the top, on December the 11th, 2022, 1 ounce of silver is $23.27. So I'm going to simply bring up a percentage calculator. And so in 1913, silver was valued at 58 cents. And today that silver is $23.30 per ounce. That is a total increase over the 109-year devaluing of the dollar. That is an increase in purchasing power. If you had held that money in silver of 3,917%. I want you guys to look at how close these two numbers are, but yet how far they are. So silver increased 3,917%, where your dollar declined 2,910% over that period of time. Now can you see why you should consider saving a portion of your money in physical silver? This is why this information has been hidden from the masses for 109 years. But now you have had the wool pulled from over your eyes. And so, guys, with that being said, I'm going to put a link below for you to take a look at some information. If you would like to position yourself to not only get physical silver for the best price, but position yourself to free yourself from the plantation of taxation legally, ethically, and morally by acquiring physical silver and simply sharing that with others, you want to go to that link. If you would like the ability to increase the income flow into your house by acquiring physical silver, sharing that with other people, what you have learned, you want to go to the link below. If you want to learn how gold measured up during this 109-year financial civil war against American financial freedom, you want to go to the link below. And with that being said, my name is Mark Pyers, home-based business tax coach and wealth coach. And you guys got a lot of the wealth information today. On behalf of myself, as well as my beautiful wife and business partner, Mrs. Levita Pyers, we're saying to you, we hope to see you on the other side of the link below. On behalf of myself, as well as my beautiful wife and business partner, Mrs. Levita Pyers, saying to you, we're on a mission to create financial independence for every person that is willing to fight for themselves. Share this information with everyone you know, and we can end the war against financial freedom in this country.